So inshallah, in this lecture, we're going to talk about some ideas that we can implement in our upcoming Ramadan to have a successful Ramadan and to have a better relationship with Al-Quran al-Kareem. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in a hadith reported in many books of the Sunan, he said, إذا كانت أول ليلة من رمضان صفدت الشياطين ومردت الجن وغلقت أبواب النار فلم يفتح منها باب وفتحت أبواب الجنة فلم يغلق منها باب ونادى مناد يا باغي الخير أقبل ويا باغي الشر أقصر ولله عتقاء من النار وذلك كل ليلة. That's in the first night of Ramadan. The first night of Ramadan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens the doors of the paradise. And at the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala closes the doors of hellfire. And at the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chained the shayateen that are seducing people. And a caller will call, Ya baghi al-sharri aqbil, Ya baghi al-khayri aqbil. Whoever wants to do good, it is the time to do good. Wa ya baghi al-sharri aqsir. The person who wants to do evil deeds, it is the time to quit evil deeds. So this is a great hadith to encourage the believers to be more focused and to be more into the worship in this month of Ramadan. This hadith, we have many scholars talking differently about it. Because the hadith says, no shayateen, the shayateen are chained. But at the same time, we see people commit sins in Ramadan. Isn't it? People drink in Ramadan. Isn't it? People do adultery in Ramadan. Isn't it? People do what's prohibited Islamically in Ramadan. Isn't it? So how the shayateen are chained, but people are committing sins. So the scholars have different opinions. Some of the scholars said it is indeed they are being chained. But we have shayateen al-ins, as we have shayateen al-jinn. The shayateen from the jinn, we have shayateen al-ins. From the human being doing the same job, seducing people and telling people to do what's prohibited. So that's why we see the evil deeds happening in Ramadan. And some of the scholars said no. What happens is that فُتِحَتْ أَبْوَابُ الْجَنَّةِ is that the khayr, people do more good deeds. So that's what it means. In closing the door of hellfire, it means that most of the evil deeds that people do, that come down. Indeed, that happened. A lot of people quit sins in Ramadan. So anyway, this hadith is great. And at the same time, it's dangerous for those who commit sins of Ramadan, in Ramadan. Why? Allah Azza wa Jalla says, or the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, that the doors are open and people are worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and people are doing good. So if you are doing bad in Ramadan, what is your situation or who you are in Ramadan? Are you a human being or are you a devil, a shaitan? So we gotta think about it. In Ramadan, who am I going to be? A person who is pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or a person who would be one of the shayateen? Because we know that the shayateen are chained. So if I'm committing sins, I'm someone who has a problem. I have to check my belief, I have to check my iman. The shayateen are not around, but I'm still sinning. I have something wrong in me. It's a great hadith, but at the same time it's scary. Because if the shayateen are chained and I'm still committing sins, I do have a serious problem. So I don't want to be among those who are hypocrites or munafiqeen or shayateen or whatever you call them. I want to be someone different. I want to be according to the hadith. I do more good deeds. I want to avoid more evil deeds that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made prohibited. And when we talk about fasting in Ramadan, it's something great. And a lot of history about fasting. In the beginning, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, fasting was not mandatory. We know that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his da'wah was for how many years? 23 years. 13 in Mecca and 10 in Al-Madinah al-Munawwara. During the period of Makkah al-Mukarramah, the fasting was not mandatory. You can fast, and if you don't fast, that's not a problem. But in the second year of the Hijrah, when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam immigrated to Al-Madinah al-Munawwara, the second year, the fasting becomes mandatory upon every single Muslim. Every single Muslim in the Medina has to fast. And the Sahaba were fasting. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was fasting. And the good thing about Islam, when we read another hadith in Sahih al-Imam Muslim, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, الصلوات الخمس والجمعة إلى الجمعة ورمضان إلى رمضان كفارات لما بينها إذا اجتنبت الكبائر. That praying 5 times a day, and then praying Friday Jumu'ah. Every Friday we come to the masjid and pray. Okay? And then you fast Ramadan. Every year we fast Ramadan. That's going to erase all of the sins that you are committing within these Ramadanat and within these Friday prayers you are making. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will erase all of that for you, as long as you avoid the major sins. As we know, Islamically, we have minor sins and major sins, like adultery and other major sins. If you avoid them and you come into the masjid praying the 5 daily prayers, and you are praying Friday prayer, and then you are fasting in Ramadan, all of the sins you are doing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will erase them for you, except the major sins. So alhamdulillah, Islam is great. When we hear about Islam, or other people when they hear about Islam, or the non-practicing Muslims, those who say, we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we believe in the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, but the religion is too much. It's hard to practice. We cannot practice it. We cannot drink. We cannot do this. We cannot do that. We have to do this. We have to do that. You know, they just taken the general idea about how you practice Islam, but when you read the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you understand that the Deen is very easy and very simple. This hadith, very beautiful hadith in Sahih Imam Bukhari, Sahih Imam Muslim. You just do 3 things: praying 5 times a day, and then praying the Salatul Jumu'ah, fast in Ramadan. This guarantees you that all of the sins you do will be forgiven, inshallah. Another hadith, also in the Sunnah, shows that. A man came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, Ya Rasulullah, inna shara'i al-Islam qad kathurat alayhi. O Prophet of Allah, the shara'i, the practices that I have to do to be a Muslim, qad kathurat alayhi. It's too much on me. What should I do? La yazalu lisanuka ratban min dhikrillah. Just take care of the dhikr. Do a lot of dhikr. This way, inshallah, you please Allah. Very simple. And another man came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, asked him about Islam. He told him that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made as-salawatul khams mandatory upon us. Then he asked, do I have to do more? He said, La illa anta tatawwa. Except if you want to do more. If you do the 5 daily prayers, that's it. You don't have to do the salawatul rawatib. Sunan al-rawatib, the 2 before dhuhr, before fajr, 4 before dhuhr, 2 after dhuhr, 2 after maghrib, and 2 after isha. You don't have to do that. That's optional. That's tatawwu. If you do it, you get rewarded. You don't do it, you're not sinful. Then he told him about the fasting. He said, should I do more than Ramadan? He said, no. Illa anta tatawwa. Except if you want to do more. You want to do Monday and Thursday, that's okay. You don't do it, that's not a problem. You want to do the white days, 13, 14, and 15, according to the Islamic Hijri calendar, you can do so. You're going to get rewarded. If you don't do it, you're okay, as long as you do it Ramadan. And then he told him about the zakat. The mandatory zakat that a Muslim has to pay. Then he asked him, do I have to do more? He said, no, illa anta tatawwa. So the sadaqah, the general sadaqah that we do, you don't have to. You are highly recommended to do so. But if you don't do it, you're okay. And see how Islam is very easy and very simple. So that's a rahmah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very simple. And by doing the major things, the major ibadah, the major righteous deeds, bi'idhnillah, this way you secure a seat in paradise. In this way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be pleased with you. As we know, that Shahru Ramadan is the month of Al-Quran Al-Kareem. It's the month that Allah Azza wa Jalla revealed the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And also we have an ayah that Allah Azza wa Jalla said, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةٍ مُبَارَكَةٍ. We have revealed it in a blessed night. And also Allah Azza wa Jalla said, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةِ الْقَدْرِ. We revealed it in the night of Al-Qadr. The question is, when we read the seerah, did we all read the seerah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Did we all read it? When you read the seerah, you're going to see that the Quran is revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam separately. In Mecca, when something happened, an ayah or 2 ayat, or many ayats are revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when he immigrated to Al-Madinatul Munawwara, same thing. Something happened in the Quran, Allah Azza wa Jalla revealed a surah or revealed an ayah or 2 or 3 ayat. But Allah Azza wa Jalla said we revealed it in the night of Surah Laylatul Qadr. So was it all revealed as once, or it was revealed separately to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? That's a khilaf among the scholars. That's a khilaf among the scholars. But we make it very short and brief. So the scholars said for sure that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Quran was sent to him separately according to the waqa'i' munajjama. Whatever something happened, the Quran is revealed. But before that, Allah Azza wa Jalla in Laylatul Qadr revealed all of the Quran to Baytul Izzah. In the heaven, all of the Quran was revealed, was written, revealed to that place. And then after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was sending it letter by letter to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam until all of it was sent down and revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam commanded the Sahaba to write the Quran, and we have it, alhamdulillah, written from the beginning to the end, and everything is protected in the Quran by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. So this month is the month of the Quran. Our relationship with the Quran has to be different. Okay? Our relationship with the Quran has to be different. When we say our relationship with the Quran, a lot of people think we are talking about reciting more and more pages of the Quran. But very importantly, we have to act upon what we read in the Quran. An example, someone who memorizes the Quran, knows the Quran by heart. He knows the Quran by heart. You ask him any verse, he can read it. And someone, but he doesn't act upon what he's reading and what he has in his head. And someone else, he only knows Al-Fatiha. He doesn't know anything else. Surah Al-Fatiha. But he acts upon whatever is in Surah Al-Baqarah. He acts upon whatever in Surah Al-An'am. He acts upon whatever in Surah Al-Hujurat. He acts upon in whatever is in all of the Quran. Who is best in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Who's better? The second person, the person who's acting upon the Quran. The Quran is not to be memorized. It's not only to be memorized. We have to memorize it. But not just to do that. We have to do more, which is acting upon what we memorize it. Memorization without action is not going to benefit you. You read it, but you don't act upon it. So what is the point of Islam? What is the point of the Quran? And because of that, the ummah now is so weak. And that's the difference between the Muslims nowadays and the Muslims in the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Sahaba, when they learn the Quran, 10 ayat. They read it, they memorize it, they learn the tafsir, they act upon it, then they go to the next 10 ayat. Right? But we have a kid in a Quran school now, we give him maybe 30 ayat in one day. He memorizes it. He doesn't understand what is it about. We don't teach him how to act upon them. In 3, 4, 5 years, he is done with the Quran. But zero action. Zero understanding. So that's the difference. So there's no any comparison between the Sahaba and the Muslims that are living nowadays. So the idea that I'm talking about is this Ramadan, inshallah, we should read more and more and more pages. But we should also focus on implementing what we read in our actions. Very, very important. What we read has to be implemented in our action. To have a good relationship with the Quran in this upcoming Ramadan, you have to have certain steps. Okay? Number 1, set a goal. What am I going to do in Ramadan with the Quran? How many khatamat? How many times I'm going to go through the Quran? A minimum 1 khatma. Right? Each and every Muslim should, at least in Ramadan, to finish the Quran from the beginning to the end once. At least. And you can do more. So you have to set a goal. Am I going to do 1 khatma? Am I going to do khatmatain? Am I going to do thalatha? Am I going to do more? I know myself. I know what I can do. I know my schedule. So I set my goal. 1, 2, 3, 4. Some people do 10 khatamat in Ramadan. Some people, alhamdulillah. Some people do 10 khatamat in Ramadan. Some people do one khatma every 3 days. Some people do one khatma every 10 days. So you know yourself and you know what you can do. So set a goal for yourself. I'm going to do one khatma or khatmatain this year. Next, challenge yourself. Okay? Challenge yourself. Last year I did one khatma. So this year I'm going to do 2 khatamat. Last year I finished the Quran once from the beginning to the end. This year I'm going to do that twice. Or at least I'm going to do that once and a half. One time and a half. I finish the Quran and then I do the half of the Quran. Or I do it twice or 3 times. Challenge yourself. Okay? The third step is to have supporting environment. Someone to be supporting you. I could set the goal and work for it. But I may only work for it for 3 days. The first 3 days of Ramadan. And after that, I'm tired. Or I'm not able to keep up and finish it. So you can have a supporting environment. You can do that with your wife. We sit together. As we know, being a husband and a wife is not just about, taking care of the kids. We have to teach each other, and also we have to support each other. So we sit and set a goal. This year we're going to finish the Quran 1 time, twice, 3 times. Whatever goal we set, we work for it and keep updating ourselves. Every single day in Ramadan, I tell my wife that I finish my portion, what I have to do. Whether it's juz'ain, I update her with that and she updates me with that. And we keep up working together. You can also, if you have friends, you can work together. Set a goal and work for it together. And my suggestion is to find someone who's very close to you, because we don't want the riyah to sneak in our actions. Because when you're doing something and other people are knowing about it, you also want to do it in a better way that's going to attract them. We don't want to do that with the worship, because our worship is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not for the sake to impress others. No. So you want some people who are very close to you. Someone who's very close to you already know you. So I'm not going to be working on impressing him. Already know me. A best friend or a childhood friend that we grew up together, we know each other. So I'm not going to do something to impress him. So try to find someone who's very, very close to you. So inshallah, that riyah does not sneak in. And then keep updating each other. And I did this personally when I was in Ma'had al-Arqam ibn Abi al-Arqam in Makkah al-Mukarramah with some of my classmates. We created like a WhatsApp group. And then we set a goal. Every single day, let's say we want to do 2 or 3 juz'u. By the end of that day, everybody has to put an update. What do you have done? If you did not write anything, we ask you. The day is almost over. Did you finish your portion? If you did not do so, so tomorrow, you're going to do what's due for tomorrow, and you're going to finish what you did not finish today. And this way, supporting each other, bi'idhnillah, by the end of the month of Ramadan, we're going to fulfill the goal that we set in the beginning of the month. Not necessarily, you may not have very, very close friends, people that are in the masjid. Sit with them. Those who are sitting next to you and talking to you, you can talk to them. We want to work together. We want to work together and achieve our goal. So have a supportive environment, and this way, inshallah, you're going to achieve your goal. One thing I want to add, let's work it the other way around. In the beginning, I said that you should do at least 1 khatma, or you do more. So let's just stick to 1 khatma. You go through the Quran once. But not the khatma that most of people do, which is the khatma of just reciting. We just recite and that's it. No. A khatma with tafsir. You can easily do this in Ramadan. Wallahi al-azim. Very easy and very simple to do so. We know in the Quran we have how many ajza? We have 30 juz'u. Right? And in Ramadan, we have 30 days or 29 days. So you can do juz every single day. 1 juz with the tafsir. How many salawat we have in 1 single day? 5. Okay? Okay, the juz in the Quran consists of how many pages? Anybody knows? 20. MashaAllah. Excellent. So each juz in the Quran has 20 pages. We divide 20 by 5. That equals 4. So after Salatul Fajr, you just read 4 pages. You done with the recitation? Okay. Grab Tafsir ibn Kathir. Some people speak Arabic. Some people do not speak Arabic. But we have Tafsir ibn Kathir in English, alhamdulillah. Grab Tafsir ibn Kathir and go over the tafsir of the 4 ayah, of the 4 pages. Very easy and simple to do. Okay? Then after Salatul Dhuhr, 4 pages. You read it, recite it. Okay? Then after finishing that, grab Tafsir ibn Kathir and read the tafsir of the 4 pages. Salatul Asr, 4 pages. Salatul Maghrib, eat your breakfast. The iftar, 30 minutes before that, Salatul Isha, you can do the 4 pages. And after Isha, inshallah, you do that. And you can work it out in a different way. It doesn't necessarily to be in that way, depending on your schedule. But what the target is, every single day, I finish 1 juz with the tafsir. After Ramadan, what's going to happen? Are you going to be the same person? Believe me, no. You're going to have so much knowledge. You're going to be able to sit with your kids and teach them about the Quran. You're going to be able to pick up the Mus'haf and read any verse. And you're going to be able to give the story behind that verse, Sababun Nuzul, the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed it. And you're going to be able to explain that. When you learn that, share it with your family. Share it with your wife. Share it with your children. Share it with those who pray next to you. Share it with your friends, with Muslims and non-Muslims. Because what you read in the Quran is good for Muslims and non-Muslims. You're going to read a lot of beautiful things. You may have some classmates or some co-workers that are not Muslim. You can share that with them. If all Muslims do that after Ramadan, how we are going to be as an ummah? We're going to be totally different, because the main problem that we have as Muslims is the ignorance. We Muslims, but we don't understand what is the Islam, what is the true Islam, how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't know the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We know everything about other things in life, but not the religion. We only know how to come to the masjid on Friday. We know how to pray, and that's it. But what to do, how to be as a Muslim, how to deal with others. What is the meaning of the Quran, how to give a da'wah to non-Muslim? We don't have the knowledge of that. So please, this Ramadan, Quran with tafsir. Recitation with tafsir. You read, and then you recite, and then you read the tafsir. And believe me, you're going to be totally different. You may read the tafsir and not understand what you're reading. Approach your local imam. Come to the imam and talk to the imam and ask the imam. And the imam will help you out. The imam may not know the answer, but you've given him a homework. He will go and search and give the answer for you. If you have a good community, you're going to have a good imam. If you have a community that asks questions and come to the imam and they want to progress, they force the imam to work more. They force the imam to be better. But when you have a lazy community, the imam is going to be discouraged. No one is coming and asking questions. If no questions, either they are knowledgeable, they know all of the knowledge, or they don't care about the knowledge. And the second is true. So that what should happen this Ramadan. Please, my dear brothers and sisters, take this in your notes. This Ramadan, I'm going to read the Quran with the understanding. I'm going to finish this Ramadan, and I'm going to be able to explain to anyone who asks me about any ayah in the Quran. I'm going to read 1 juz every day with the tafsir. Tafsir ibn Kathir, very, very simple and easy. And it's available in English. You may not understand Arabic. That's not a problem. We have an English version of it. Okay? So read the English version of it. Do 1 juz every single day with the tafsir. Believe me, you're going to be a different person after Ramadan, bi'idhnillah. In Ramadan, the main thing that we do is fasting, right? And all Muslims fast in Ramadan. But the problem is that not all Muslims fast the proper fasting. Not all Muslims fast the proper fasting, because our understanding of the fasting is that we don't eat and drink. No food, not to drink any liquid all the way till sunset, from the dawn time, the time for Adhan al-Fajr, all the way till Salatul Maghrib. But during that fasting, we don't control ourselves. During that fasting, a lot of people commit sins. During that fasting, people talk and say things that are prohibited Islamically, and they think that they are pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with their fasting. Because the only focus they have is on the food. I'm not eating, I'm not drinking, so I'm pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not necessarily. You could be not eating, not drinking, and your fasting is not acceptable. As the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam explained. Because the fasting is the time for the adhan. We're going to start? Okay, so we're going to stop here, inshallah, pray Salatul Maghrib, and we're going to keep going after the Salat, bi'idhnillah. Jazakumullahu khairan wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad.